Welcome to another episode of the Marathon. Life's not a sprint, it's a marathon. My name's Mare. I would love it if you laced up and subscribed today. We need a cup of coffee. Yes, we do. Just using my Mareathoner mug, wearing my Mareathoner hat. Where are we? See? Hey-o. Link below. I don't know if we have any red ones left, but there's definitely a few hats left, that's for sure. I've had to restock them because everybody loves them. Me too. So today I just wanted to do a sit down and answer a question because it is something that is so prevalent, and I'm sure so many of you can relate to this. I know I can. I know that many of my friends can because we have this conversation often. It was a question I got a couple of days ago on another video that I posted that was your questions about feeling the feels and grief and self-talk. And Deborah asked, how do you quiet all the noise in your head long enough to relax and just be? My brain never shuts off. Deborah, you're not alone. And I feel that in this day and age with social media and with so much technology, it is so hard to do, and we're slowly being trained to not do that. Like, I know for myself, unless I'm filming a video, there's something going on in my house. Music, an audiobook, a podcast, YouTube on, Netflix on, and then I'm still multitasking. And so this is something that I've sort of started to want to work on because I don't feel that it's good for us. And I know it's not, because I can feel, you know, my anxiety rising or my stress rising or the FOMO rising or the comparison game rising. So I have been thinking about it ever since I got that question. It really stood out to me and I wanted to answer it. I do have some things just off the top of my head that I do when I find myself getting into that loop, and I thought I would share my tips and then hope that you can share your tips in the comments below or in the Mareathoner Facebook group so that we can help each other. So for me, when I feel like my mind's going a mile a minute and I just can't shut her down, there's definitely a few things that I do, or like a checklist that I can run through. I will stop and make a list of everything that's on my mind, because I find once it's on paper, it's much easier. One step further, I'll journal and brain dump and just write. I never go back and read what I've written. I never judge my grammar or my spelling or, you know, capitalizations or anything like that. I just write and brain dump. And I find for me, the more I can write it out, then the more I can either like calm down and a pattern starts to emerge and I can kind of like talk myself into where I need to be. That really helps for me. I know it's not for everyone, and I know a lot of people are super resistant to it because they don't want to face what's going on. And I think that that's a big thing, is like you have to be willing to at least acknowledge what's going on in your mind, acknowledge what you're thinking about, what you're running from, what you're avoiding. And so either just make a big list or journal it, or like put a note in your phone or do a voice note on your phone. You could film like I do, but just getting it out, because you need to stop that like hamster wheel of thinking, right? This is why I meditate. Today was 340 days straight for me. I use the Headspace app. I talk about it all the time, and that has been infinitely helpful to me to make my brain focus and be present, because that's basically what it comes down to, right? When you say you want everything in your brain to just stop and you to just be able to breathe, you want to be present. So you need to bring yourself back to the present moment and constantly be doing that. For me, if I'm at work and I'm stressing out about 6 zillion things like to do with Thomas or whatever, what meditating has taught me is A, I am not my thoughts. I can just watch them go by. I don't have to engage with every single thought. And B, there's like, if there's nothing I can do about it right then, there's no point in going around and around and around about it. So I just bring myself back to like, what is the task at hand right now? Like right now I could think of 40 things that would stress me out, but I'm filming this video. So that's what we're focusing on right now. And meditating has taught me that so much. Even if you just do it 5 minutes a day or 5 minutes a day, twice a day, like morning and night, it has been like revolutionary for my mental health, for my relationships, just for my well-being and my mind. it's amazing. Meditating has been huge. Also, if you feel like there's a ton of noise in your head, talk to someone about it. Like, have someone in your life or two people who you can go to and be like, hey, I just really need to talk about this. And sometimes going back and forth really helps. For me, when I'm having a really rough day, it's often like Thomas and I are home by ourselves all day, and I don't have any other adult interaction, and I don't have anyone to talk to. And so I find that I just like work myself up and work myself into a tizzy, and then I go and see someone. Sometimes we don't even talk about what it is that's upsetting me, and that helps me like break. It's the worst snap ever. It helps me break that cycle of overthinking because I have to focus on something else. And that brings me to my next tip. Focus on something else. If you are like, you find your brain is just going a mile a minute, try and focus on something else. For me, I will tidy, I will exercise, whether it's like literally just putting on music and going for a walk, putting on music and having like a little dance party in my house, putting on some music and cleaning, to try to just like do something else. Or I'll focus on work where I can't multitask. If you find that you have a mind that is constantly going around and around, I would say be super mindful of how much you multitask. Like, if you're doing work and then you take a call from someone, or if you're doing work and you get an email and you feel like you have to answer that email, and then you get a social media notification, and then you're hungry, and then you're feeling like you need to get up and get some steps in, etc., etc. Be super mindful of how many times you're multitasking throughout the day, because I feel like that contributes to your brain being like nonstop. No, I'm just gonna work. I'm not going to answer the phone. I'm not gonna do X, Y, and Z to a million. I'm just gonna do this one thing. And I heard this great quote the other day. I don't remember it specifically, but it was like if you are doing like 5 things at once, you can only do 5 things at, say, 20%. So you're not actually doing anything well. You're just doing a bunch of things mediocrely at the same time. But if you can just do one thing at a time, you'll do it better, you'll do it faster, and you'll feel more accomplished. And I think your brain will just feel quieter. At least it does for me. Be mindful about how much you're on your phone and how much you're scrolling social media. I've talked to friends who, you know, we both admit to scrolling social media to disconnect, to like step out for a minute, basically, like mentally, and not think about work or think about our tasks. But what ends up happening is you fall down a rabbit hole of scrolling and then comparing yourself and then beating yourself up and then thinking like, oh, I need to do 40 other things to be like that person, or they're doing a million things. How am I not doing as many things? And it's like such a sinkhole of comparison. So sometimes I will literally like throw my phone across the room, back away, and get to doing something else, or just like taking a breather. And find something that you enjoy, something that could be, when you get to that point of my brain is going and going, what can I do? Is it just put your shoes on, put your headphones in, and go for a walk for 5 minutes? Is it close the door to your office and do a headspace meditation for 5 minutes? Like, I have friends that do that. I've totally done that. Close the door of the studio at the radio station and done a meditation. What else could you do? Like, is it listening to an audiobook? Is it listening to a podcast? Is it writing? Is it calling a friend? Is it making plans to have something to look forward to? The list really is endless, but having something to distract yourself or look forward to or instantly get you out of that, like break that cycle. Mel Robbins' 5-second rule has some really good tips and tricks in it about breaking that mindset for sure. But those are just some of the things off the top of my head that work for me, that hopefully would work for you. I'd love for you to comment below and tell me what are some things that you do that you find helpful, and then hopefully we can all help each other. I think what it comes down to is just being present and catching yourself when you have those runaway thoughts of like, what can I actually do in this moment? Can I do anything? No? Okay, let's try and, you know, focus on what I can focus on. Or, yes, I can do something. What is that thing? And then actually do the thing. Don't just think about it. Do the thing. Okay. That's enough rambling for this video. Thomas is very quiet, so I need to go see. That's usually a bad sign. But thanks for watching. Please lace up and become a marathoner. Subscribe to my channel. Life's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And in this marathon, we all have those moments of our brains just going a million miles a minute. And then it's like, what can you do to bring it back to center, to present, and to focus? I'm realizing I could talk about this for like another 40 minutes. But thanks for watching. Let me know what works for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.